Hi, we're going to take a quick look at standard form. So it's basically a nice way to display really large or really small numbers fairly compactly without loads and loads of zeros. Before you do this, make sure you're okay with the basic laws of indices. So stuff like, are you okay solving this simple problem? If you are, it should be 12x to the 6. Again, times the numbers, add the powers. Okay, first step is reading and writing numbers in standard form. So for standard form, you must have, first of all, a number between 1 and 10, and that must be multiplied by a power of 10. So going through how we do that. For part A, I basically go to the front of the number, and so in this case 2 will be set 1, my number between 1 and 10. I then want to multiply it by 10 to some sort of power so that the whole thing equals 20,000. The way to work out the power, if we've got 2, that basically means the decimal point is going here, and the easiest way to do it is just count how many times it's shifted across, how many jumps they've been. So there have been 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps to the end of the number. So it'll be 2 times 10 to the power of 4. Okay? Another example, same idea. Step 1, a number between 1 and 10. In this case, I'm going to start 4. Any numbers after that are just going to go after the decimal point. Then we need to times it by 10 to some power. My point has now gone here, so I count the jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 jumps, so it's times 10 to the 6. Same idea works with really small numbers. So in this case, my number is going to be 2.13. Get your first digit, put a point after it, and any other digits go after that point. However, for really small numbers, your power will always be negative. So we've got a negative power, that means it's a really small number. The point's gone here, we count how many squares it's moved by, or how many places it moves by, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. There's been 4 jumps, so it's times 10 to the minus 4. Okay, we can also go the other way. So here I want to write these as normal numbers, so basically in this form rather than the standard form. And we go the exact opposite way. So I have 7.16 times 10 to the 5. That means I want to move this point 5 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it basically wants to go here. Any gaps we've got, we are just going to fill in with zeros. So in this case, that's my final answer. Writing it a wee bit nicer than that, that is 716,000. Okay. Doing the same with a number with a minus power. Again, remember, minus powers means they're really small, so we go the other direction. We start with 3.1. We've got times 10 to the minus 6. That means I've got to go 6 jumps this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The point will go here, and I fill in everything else with zeros. So 0.0000031. Okay, and that will be your final answer. Next skill, we have multiplying and dividing numbers in standard form. Okay, this isn't too bad. For all questions you tend to see, they always like to ask your answer to be in standard form. So after you finish each question, we're going to check whether or not the answer is in a standard form. So first one, this is just like a law of indices questions. So it's kind of the same thing as 4y to the 5 times 2y to the 3. And we'll solve it the exact same way. We're going to times our numbers and we're going to add our powers. So in this case, it's going to be 4 times 2 gives us 8. Add the powers, 5 plus 3 also gives us 8. So it's 8 times 10 to the 8. We need to check this is in a standard form. To do that, all we need to check is this first number between 1 and 10? And in this case it is. So we're done. That's absolutely fine. And we can go on to part B. Part B we do the exact same way. Times the numbers. 8 times 3 is 24. And we're going to add the powers. So you've got minus 3 plus minus 5. If you're adding two negatives, your answer is getting more negative. So it's going to be times 10 to the minus 8. Here, slightly different. This answer is not in standard form because this number is not between 1 and 10. It is too big. So what we're going to do, we're going to make this number 10 times smaller. So make this number smaller, so 24 goes to 2.4. We now have an extra power of 10, which we give over here. So if I make this number smaller, I need to make my power 1 bigger. So 1 more than minus 8 is minus 7. So again, number went smaller, power went bigger. Last example with division. Do it the exact same way. We're going to divide the numbers and subtract the powers. So 2 divided by 4, that gives us 0.5, because 2 over 4 is a half. Subtracting the powers, we have times 10 to the 8. And we have the same problem as before, that this answer is not in standard form, because this is not between 1 and 10. So we do the same thing. We're going to make this number 10 times bigger, so it becomes 5. If I've made this number bigger, you must make your power smaller. So it's now 5 times 10 to the 7. Okay, hope that was okay. We can also do adding and subtracting numbers in standard form. This is a slightly more rarely tested skill, but it's worth going over it just in case. For me, the easiest way to do it is write both your numbers with the same power of 10. And I think it's slightly easier to look at if you use the smaller power of 10, although you can use either. So I'm going to write everything as something times 10 to the 4. And then I can just basically join them together. So this one's not going to change, it's going to stay as 3 times 10 to the 4. Here, I've made my power smaller, which means I must make my number bigger. So this is 40 times 10 to the 4. Now we can just join them together, so they've got the same power of 10. So this combined will be 43 times 10 to the 4. It's not in standard form, so my last step is going to make this number smaller, which then makes my power bigger. Okay? You could have written them both as something times 10 to the power 5, and that would always get you the same answer. One more, the same idea with subtracting. We have 7 times 10 to the minus 3, minus 4 times 10 to the minus 5. I'm going to do it the same way. I'm going to write everything as my smaller power of 10, which in this case is minus 5. This one's not going to change. I have made this power 2 smaller, so this number must get bigger 2 times, so it goes from 7 up to 700. And then same as before, we can just take away the numbers together. So you can only do this step once your powers are the same. 700 take away 4 is 696. We've got times 10 to the minus 5. And then last step, we need to write that back in standard form. So this number is 2 times too big. So I want to write it as 6.96. Because I've shifted it twice, I've got to make my power 2 bigger. So it'll be 6.96 times 10 to the minus 3. Okay, and always be careful when you're going bigger and smaller with negatives that you do it the right way around. Okay, that's all there is to learn on this thing. I know it's a fair bit to take in at once, but it wasn't too bad. You have some questions to try, so feel free to pause and give them a go. That's the first 3. And that's the second half. I'll give the answers to questions in black in a second. Okay. That's the answers to the first half. And same for the second half. Again, remembering for these harder questions that you always have your answer back in standard form. Okay, hope that made sense to you, and thanks for listening.